For this project 14, I want you to follow what I'm going to show you here and then make your version of it as project 14 shapes on layers. Now, first thing I'm going to do is go up to File. I've got Photoshop open. I'm going to go up to File and say New. And when it comes open, it may be saying pixels and pixels here. I'm going to change that to inches. And I want my width to be 7 inches. Oops, hit the word width and make sure it's 7. And then the height, hit the word height and it blues it out and make that 5. Resolution is 400, that's good. RGB is what we're dealing with, everything's okay. Now, I haven't named it yet. I could name it here and call it Shapes on Layers. And then when I hit OK, I get my new box. Let's see, I've got to get that down a little bit. There, okay. I just got to see these red and yellow and green buttons here underneath my menu. So I'm driving that there. Now here's my 5x7. My navigator, I'm going to make it a little bigger. Okay, so we're going to build some shapes and put them on layers. The first thing I want you to do is go to background here, which is what I'm looking at, my first layer, and click on this, click, and call it white back for white background or white back color drop. Okay, I hit that and you see what's now is unlocked and it's white back. Now I'm going to make a new layer down here with my new layer button, and that new layer I'm going to name not layer 1 but rectangle blue. And then I'm going to come to my Marquee Tool, the rectangle one, and I'm going to just eyeball a rectangle in the lower portion of this white background. It's on the rectangle blue, and I've got to find a blue color, so I'm going to my foreground color and I'm going to come up here into the blues. I'm going to pick something dark, almost a navy blue. I OK that, and that color now comes into my foreground color over here. And to put the foreground color in that marching ants marquee on the rectangle blue, Option key and Delete key, and the blue comes in. Alright, now I'm going to hit Command D and then marching ants goes away. You can see I have my Show Transform Controls on so that the bounding box is showing. Without that, you don't see them. And whether you look at them or not, it's up to you, but just keep in mind what's on and off. Sometimes you will need that bounding box. Say I wanted to grab this thing and make it a little taller, so I could do that with a bounding box. And I have to apply that. Hit the Move tool because I've changed something here, and so I have to apply that. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and get the marquee and go to elliptical marquee tool, and I'm going to create a foreground color that is orange. Come down here, well, a reddish orange. Come down here in the lower bottom and find a reddish orange and OK that's now my foreground. I'm going to produce a circle, Option key and the Shift key, so it produces a circle and about that size. And then I've got to create a new layer for that too, so let's go over here and create a layer. Click, and let's say that's going to be circle orange. Okay, now that layer's there, now don't forget your little marching ant marquee is there, but now I've made this new layer. It's going to put this circle on that new layer. So the color is the reddish orange. Option Delete puts that color in there. Now I can take my I can click in here with my white arrow with the marquee around it, and it takes off the marching ants, or I could hit Command D and it would take them off. Now I take my Move tool and I can place this over the rectangle like that. Okay, I'm going to make another. This is the active one, so I hit another one and I get a new layer on top of the active, and this layer I'm going to rename as let's see, let's call it vertical tan. Alright, now I'm going to get my marquee again, the rectangular one, and I'm going to put a vertical pillar here, and I want that to be tan. Remember, I'm on the vertical tan layer, so I come over here to the color picker, and let's go up into the orange a little bit and find a tan there. And when that tan shows up there, and I like that, Option key and Delete key puts the tan in. Come back inside with your Marquee Tool, and you can turn off the marching ants. Okay, now I'm going to make a new layer. Layer keeps being layer 1, but I'm changing the name on it, and I'm going to call this Square Green. Square Green. Now I'm going to come down here and find the green color, come into the green somewhere and find a reasonably dark green. Okay, that, and then make my green square with the shift and the option key down, and it'll make a square, not too big. And then that square marquee on the green square, option key and delete key, and I put the green in. Now I'm going to move that over so it strides in front of. Now see, it's the top layer, so it's in front of everything. You can move these things around and put them in different positions, but I'm just going by the site here. Command D takes off the marching ants. All right, another layer. I'm going to call this orange, or bar orange, B-A-R-O-R-A-N-G-E, since I have my colors coming the other way. Now I'm going to take my little Marquee Tool, and I'm going to make a long narrow rectangle here, and I'm going to go find a orange color, something like that, enough so that you can contrast it against the red. Okay, that in option delete puts the foreground color in that orange bar. Alright, now I've got all these bars in shape. Let's put a couple of lines of type in here, and Command D takes out that marching ants again. Now with a type, it makes its own bar in here when we do this, so we don't have to create a bar for the type. I'm going to go to the type tool, and I'm going to go to impact. I want the impact font, and I want it free large 72. I'm going to have it left aligned, so I'm going to line it up in this area here. And the color I want, here's the color that was there, the foreground color. I'm going to click on that color and make it a reddish or maroon color. So I come down here in the reds and get a darker red, reddish brown, and OK that. Now with my text tool, I'm just going to click out here anywhere in this white, and I get a 72-point blinking cursor, and I'm going to put down my caps lock, all caps, and put the word color, C-O-L-O-R. Alright, now I'm going to take my move tool and back this down and put it in this little white corner right there. I want one more word, and I want the word shapes. Now one way to do it, there's a couple of ways to get this done. One is to just copy color. If I grab the color bar here and drag it down and put it in that new bar, it makes a copy. See, there's color copy. And if I pull it off, it's exactly the same thing. But I'm going to change the word. So type tool and click on this color, this color copy, click, click, click. And let's put the word all caps shapes, S-H-A-P-E-S. And it's a little tight here where the H and the S are. I can click on that again and open it up, or select it, backlight it as it's called. Put down my finger on the option key, and the right arrow pushes the letters apart. It sort of increases the kerns in between them. And that seems to help the HA business there. If you think the PE is too far apart, you can kern that back by taking the type tool and clicking between the P and the E. Not backlighting, but just getting that blinking cursor. Now the option key in the left arrow pulls the E back a little bit. Now there's a lot of space between the P and the E. You don't want to be on top of each other, but you might want to close that down a little bit. And even the SH, put it between there, option key, right arrow, left arrow, tucks them closer together. I don't want them to touch, but I want to just cut down that size. Now another thing I want to do is I'm going to click on the shapes again with the text tool and backlight it, and this color maroon, I'm going to change it to a really light gray. So I click on my color picker, and I'll come up here into the grays. This is the brown I had, and I'm going to use the same tone, I guess, and I'll get a sort of a brownish gray. Okay, that. Let's see, did it make the change? I don't think, well, let's see if it did or not. Yeah, it did make the change. The color didn't change here, but it did change up in the menu. Now I'm going to pull shapes and put it down here in the blue box. All right, now as I look at this, I either have to change shapes or I have to change the box. Let's go back. Let's open our layer a little deeper here. Oh, I have to okay that because I moved it, I think. No, I guess not. There. Now I'm going back to my blue rectangle, and it's selected, and the bounding box is on. I'm going to pull this over just a little bit so it covers that S. And since I moved it that close on that side, I'm going to balance it on this side. That's kind of a backward way of going around, and apply that because I moved it. It's a backward way of going around it, but it solves our problem for now. So what I have then is these shapes and this type. Notice the type, whatever you typed in caps or lowercase, it makes its own layer, and T means that the R, T, or text, and that's the word shapes, that's the word color. Maybe I want shapes underneath color. You can't tell the difference here, but it says, now you read it as color, shapes. So this is an assembly of shapes on layers to include fonts. Now if we wanted to change those fonts to outlines, we could by going up to, I'll select the shapes ones first and go to layer and say rasterize type. Now what that does, it stops it from being typed. You can't spell check it anymore. You can't do what the type stuff does, but it is now a shape. Now notice that the shapes lost the T connotation here. It's not a type anymore, so it's not open for spell check or grammar or anything. But it will open on some other computer without having to find that font. Now Impact is a font that is on most computers anyway, but if not, and you don't think it's going to go there, I'll go back to color here and the same thing. Layer and down to rasterize and type. And the type goes away and it just shows you the shapes that form the word color. Alright, now I'm going to turn off the show transform controls so we don't see that. This is what I want you to produce. The background is white, the blue, the orange, the tan, the green, the bar orange, and the shapes and the color. This circle orange here, maybe that's better said. Let's make that name red. See if it'll do it for me. Because it's more red than orange, and it makes a difference. R-E-D. Okay. Whoops, I got all caps. Let's take the caps off. Okay, so this is what I want you to do for Project 14 is give me your own version. Size and position are not critical, but do the blue, then the red, then the tan, then the green, then the orange, and the layer colors, color shapes put in place. And label this as Project 14 and learn how to handle, use, control layers.